The notorious one himself, Conor McGregor, is back in the news with The Ultimate Fighter airing tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. But we're not going to talk about that. I am going to do a video reacting to the first episode, giving you guys my thoughts. So guys, tune in for that episode and you guys will see my thoughts. But Conor's been in the news a lot, you know, with his documentary coming out. A lot of people talking about his appearance, how he might have looked like he's gained weight, talking about how he's out there partying, going to countless different events, whether it be bare knuckle boxing. He was just recently at the Katie Taylor fight. This week he was at the Monaco Grand Prix. And listen, I'm not saying Conor can't have fun because he's supposed to fight at the end of the year. I'm not at all saying that. You know, he should have some fun. There are some things that I do like that Conor says, and I'm going to get into it in this video, but some things that are worrying me because the guy does seem to be out a lot, drinking a lot. And when you're a guy like Conor McGregor who is so famous and has so much money, you gotta wonder, is he getting distracted by all these other things? What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share, because we hit 11K. You guys are subscribing a lot by the day, and we're trying to get to 20K by the end of the year. Our next goal is 12K. If we can get that by the end of the month, that would just be insane, but we'll see what happens. 20K by the end of the year. I'm confident you guys can get this done. We're trying to get 12K by the end of the month. Well, I guess the end of June, I should say. So a little over a month. Guys, I think we can make it happen. You guys are subscribing a lot by the day. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this video. Alright, the notorious one, Conor McGregor. You know, obviously, like I already said, Tough is coming out tonight, and that's going to be massive, and we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about some of the other stuff, and I also want to talk about the matchup between Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor, and do I think that he will lose this fight because of all these bad habits, because of the partying? Now, first thing I want to address is I don't want to just assume, you know, Conor's not training. I assume he's obviously training, you know, that would just be dumb. So that's kind of why I held back on this video and held back my concerns, but honestly, the more and more I see it, he's just drinking. And I will say, it looks like he is slimming down, to be honest. If you look at The Ultimate Fighter and you look at what he looks like now, you can notice there is a bit of weight loss. I'm hoping that this fight takes place at 155. Obviously, at the state that he's in right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be, but the guy looks massive. This is definitely the biggest we've ever seen Conor in his career. We've seen him fight at 170 pounds before, but this time, this might be a little bit rougher of a weight cut if he has to weigh in at the weight that he is right now. Like, if he has to cut from now, that might be a rough weight cut. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you know, Conor has been seen at tons of events. Like I mentioned, you know, the Katie Taylor fight, we sponsored the event, and just seems to be just having a good time. And look, I don't mind that. But when you look at Michael Chandler's Instagram, I mean, look at it. He is training constantly, not taking any break, and he's putting in the hard work. And look, Conor might be putting in that hard work. He told Ariel Helwani that he apparently is training 3 times a day now.
I'm not going to drink it. This will be if I'm not going to drink because I'm going to train 3 times a day. And I tell you why. When I trained this morning, I don't usually train 3 times. I just feel like 3 times a day. Which is absolutely insane. I would assume in the morning, afternoon, and at night. And I did a review talking about McGregor Forever. If you guys want to see it, I'll put it in the corner. But you could see in there that he does have the desire to fight. And at the end of the documentary, you can see he's even itching, you know, just to start training again. Just to get back in there and fight. He wants to get to exercise ASAP. He wanted to do the bike right away. Was looking to see how fast he could return. And that's partially probably why he allegedly is taking steroids. Obviously, heal up the leg faster. Which, in my opinion, I don't necessarily mind. I don't think it's necessarily bad if you have such a bad injury like that to take it just for recovery reasons. Like that kind of injury, you know, we see Chris Weidman, he's been out for 2 years, and where the hell is this guy? I mean, he did just compete in a grappling tournament recently, but there's no news of him fighting. We have news of Conor fighting even before Chris Weidman, and Conor broke his leg, I think, 3 months after him. And I will say that it did look like Chris Weidman's leg was worse. I don't really know much about leg breaks, but Conor clearly was not able to train properly with the leg, of course, and that's not him to blame. And you got to remember that Khabib training camp, Conor says he was extremely not focused. We saw a little bit of it in the documentary. We saw him drinking on stage on the press conference. That's just the type of stuff that you don't like to see. And it's just like, I feel like I see Conor week to week in another country, not even in his own country, trying to fight, trying to train. It's worrying to me. And look, he probably is training somewhat, but I wonder if he's training to the extent that, number one, he's saying, and number two, that he should be. But will that matter against Michael Chandler? Now look, Michael Chandler is a dangerous fight for Conor, and a dangerous fight for everybody. We saw Michael Chandler have a lot of success against Dustin Poirier, especially with the wrestling. He even rocked Dustin Poirier in the beginning of their fight. Dustin Poirier even saying if he would have threw his shots a little bit more straight, he could have possibly knocked out Poirier. So we know Michael Chandler has power, and we've seen Conor get dropped by overhands before. He got dropped by Khabib with that punch. He got rocked by Chad Mendes with that punch. And it's worrying because that is what Michael Chandler tends to throw. Michael Chandler is very telegraphed when he throws it, and that's where I'm getting at. Now, if you guys have heard me talk about this matchup before, I have predicted that Conor McGregor is going to knock out Michael Chandler in the first round. I think it'll happen pretty quick. I think it'll be vicious, and simply because I think this is a really good matchup for Conor McGregor. In my opinion, Conor's at his best when he's moving backwards. When someone is so aggressive, we saw, you know, he countered Jose Aldo.
and when he's just, you know, countering, when he's on the counter, that's where he tends to do the best and tends to find the shot. And we've seen Michael Chandler knocked out before. We saw him get knocked out by Charles Oliveira. We saw him get dropped by Justin Gaethje. We saw him get dropped by Dustin Poirier. And Conor McGregor, say what you want about him, is very powerful, and we know that he is bigger than he's ever been. He's going to be extremely powerful. Now, there is a lot of question marks about this fight, simply because, you know, I am worried for Conor in this matchup. Number one is the obvious, is the leg break. How will he deal with that metal in his leg? I would assume it's probably more inconvenient, but who knows? It's apparently a pretty light metal. I don't really know the science behind it, so don't even ask me to explain here. But that's my main concern with the leg. You know, how is he going to be able to recover? You know, he had some time off. He is getting older. We did see in that last Dustin Poirier fight that he wasn't as good. And another thing is the fact that he hasn't been training, as I just mentioned. How is that going to affect his cardio? Is he taking this serious? Is he taking Michael Chandler lightly? Is this something that he actually wants to do? Or is this something that he just feels like he needs to prove to everybody because of everybody talking shit about Conor McGregor, everybody saying that he's a bum now? Does he feel like he has to prove those people right? Or does he feel like he has to prove himself right? And that's the question. That what is his mindset going into this fight? And another thing that worries me is, of course, the weight gain. We've seen him gain muscle as well as also fat. It's clear to tell, and you know, muscle requires a lot of oxygen. When you have a lot of muscle, that requires a lot of oxygen. And Conor McGregor already kind of had cardio issues. I don't think it's as bad as people make it seem, but he has had cardio issues. He is an explosive guy. I think at the time before the break, I would say he had better cardio than Michael Chandler does. Michael Chandler does tend to gas out in 3-round fights, and this is going to probably be a 5-round fight, I'd assume. And as I said, he is getting older. You gotta wonder about his chin. He got knocked out by Dustin Poirier for the first time in his career. He hasn't competed in MMA in a while. Michael Chandler's been kind of active, had fought twice last year. I guess he's gonna have some time off by the time he fights Conor McGregor, but still, you gotta wonder. It's not looking good on the surface, but I will say the Conor McGregor that broke his leg against Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, beats Michael Chandler pretty easily. And I still probably am going to pick Conor McGregor. I want to see how Conor looks during the fight week, if he has actually lost some weight, if it's at 170 or if it's at 155, because if this is at 155, I'm picking Conor McGregor easy, because to me, that'll show that he did the work to lose the weight, that he clearly was in a good training camp, that he was working hard for this, that he does actually want this. But however, if it's 170, probably not going to be at 185, but if it is at 185, and we see that Conor McGregor isn't necessarily doing the work that he's supposed to, and he still comes in kind of similar to how he is right now, I kind of worry about that. And by kind of, I mean I very do much worry about that, because I think that means a Conor McGregor loss is on the horizon. And the thing about Michael Chandler is that Michael Chandler throws so hard. We've seen him rock everybody, to Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier. He almost finished Charles Oliveira. Like, this guy does hit really hard, and I do think that Conor McGregor is one of the best guys at avoiding strikes and countering, especially against a right-handed fighter like Michael Chandler. I would normally pick a first-round KO, and I would say it was going to be early, like within the first minute and a half, but a lot of these things are making me question that. It's worrying to me. Now, I've said this time and time again, I think Michael Chandler does have the skills to beat Conor McGregor. If he just kind of relaxes, does the wrestling early, tire out Conor McGregor, let his power kind of fade in the later rounds, and then let Michael Chandler kind of counter Conor McGregor, then Conor might be in for a bad night, because Conor has trouble sometimes seeing strikes when they're being thrown at him when he's moving forward. Like, he's much better on the back foot. He has time to kind of slip away, or if he's out in the open, he just has time to, you know, to slide back and land the left hand. And in my opinion, I think that's why Dustin Poirier was able to hit Conor McGregor so easily in that third fight. When Conor was going forward, Dustin kind of just landed a left hand easily, and for those reasons, I think I'm worried about Conor McGregor. Now, I'm excited to see the Ultimate Fighter. I'm excited to see, you know, how he's doing in the training of the Ultimate Fighter. And I will say, granted, look, we have about 6 months or so until that fight with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. I assume it's happening in December. That's so far the word. So we got 6 months, and 6 months is a very, very long time to train for Conor McGregor. He could definitely lose a lot of weight, and he could probably make 155 in 6 months. But will he want to? How is his hunger? I don't doubt that Conor McGregor wants to fight. I don't doubt that he doesn't want to win. He 1000% is doing this because he wants to win, but I'm curious to see his mindset. I want to see if it's for him or if it's for the fans, because I think if it's for the fans and trying to prove them wrong, I don't think he's coming in with the good mindset. He has to do this because he wants to do this, and I think he'll win. I think if he does the work, then gets that hunger and kind of encourages himself to do the work to beat Michael Chandler in emphatic fashion, this might be a really great performance from Conor McGregor, and a performance that everyone's like, whoa, this guy might be back at the top of the lightweight division. But that's just my opinion, you know. I think it's more interesting if Conor McGregor wins. I do like Michael Chandler, though. I just think if Michael Chandler loses, he'll still be in the picture, despite losing to everybody at the top already, but he got his Conor McGregor fight. I think at that point, Michael Chandler has gotten everything he wanted, a big Conor McGregor fight, to be a big, exciting UFC fighter, have tons of fun fights on his resume, and probably will still have more fun fights depending on what it looks like after the Conor McGregor fight. However, I think if Conor loses, what are you really going to do with Conor anymore? If you can't beat Michael Chandler, you're not beating anybody at the top of the the division. Like I said, I think this is a good matchup, so we'll see what happens. Guys, let me know what you guys think of the matchup. Let me know what you guys think of Conor McGregor's partying. Do you guys think that it'll affect the fight? Do you think he'll actually get into shape for this fight? I hope it happens at 155. I don't think it makes sense at 170, but whatever. I just hope that these guys figure it out. I hope he can inspire himself to lose that weight, get into training shape, and we could see an actual good Conor McGregor. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, we're trying to hit 12K by the end of the month, by the end of June. So hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys in the next one.